Hello, I'm Chris Brown, Fleet Group Editor at Bobbit, and welcome to the next episode of Fast Forward interview series. Fast Forward is about connecting with leaders in fleet, tech, and automotive to show what the future holds for fleets of all types. In this episode, I interview David C. Dowty of Free2Move. David is head of North American business and corporate development for Free2Move, and we're going to be talking about how technology, the connected car, and new processes will affect the future of fleet management. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe to the Fleet Forward YouTube channel so you don't miss future episodes of Fast Forward. And hey, feel free to drop us a comment on the channel. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, hi, David. Welcome to Fast Forward.
Thanks, Chris. Great to be here.
Sure. Okay. Well, first off, I really want to find out about really Free2Move. I mean, we know Free2Move mostly as car sharing, and you're going to tell us it's so much more. Looking forward to hearing what Free2Move is all about.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris. You know, most people here in North America know Free2Move from our car sharing applications that we have in DC and Portland, and even the subscription vehicle program that we have in LA. But that's really the tip of the iceberg for Free2Move, because at its core, Free2Move is a technology company that's bringing together both B2B and B2B or B2C mobility services, fleet management, and advanced data services to provide comprehensive solutions to the marketplace. You know, Free2Move was born from the Peugeot side of the family, but as a part of the Stellantis group, we're really going to leverage the strength of being the fourth largest OEM, but also the nimbleness and the adaptability of a startup to bring these solutions that are demanded by our customers to market. Something that's really fascinating to note is Free2Move has been around for a while. We just celebrated our 5th anniversary as a company under the Stellantis group, and it's well established in Europe. We have over 200 employees. There's already 1.2 million active customers on the Free2Move mobility platform, plus over 600,000 business contracts. So it's an established brand, an established business. And it was just awarded the 2021 Frost & Sullivan New Mobility Company of the Year Award in Europe. And so we're going to be taking a lot of that energy and enthusiasm and growth that's driving the Free2Move brand in Europe and bringing it here to North America.
Okay, great. Well, so we're here for fleet managers. How are you expanding Free2Move into solving fleet management problems?
Sure. What's really fascinating is when you actually think about the problems that are posed to operators of mobility solutions, whether it is a car sharing product, a subscription product, a ride hailing product, they really are at their core the same kind of problems that plague fleet managers. As we're moving forward into this world of connected vehicles where data is becoming key to our existence, you know, the same questions that arise for me as an operator of these mobility services for customers are the same kind of questions that a fleet manager wants to know. So the Free2Move platform that was designed and built is really a complete ecosystem for both private and professional customers that helps simplify mobility and fleet deployments. So we take advanced data because we are connected to the OEM with embedded telematics as well as with third-party hardware as necessary. And we leverage the same UX and the same UI to really bring solutions to the marketplace that can be easily adapted for fleet customers. You know, fleet assets are expensive and they're capital intensive, and a manager needs to know basic information like what's the location of the vehicle, the condition of the vehicle, the status of the vehicle, whether or not the maintenance cycles are being kept up. But frankly, that's just the basic table stakes today in the name of fleet management and the use of data. So more data is not better, and a BI dashboard in and of itself is not inherently valuable unless you're able to derive insights and actionable intelligence that you can make decisions on. And since we have to do that for our own mobility services that we offer directly to customers from Free2Move, we're not just designing a product that we think fleet managers want, we're using it every day to manage our own products and our own services. And that's really one of our core advantages of Free2Move, is that we do both sides of the house. We operate fleets, but we also provide the same tools to customers to improve their businesses as well.
Okay, so you sort of were talking about fleet management dashboards. There's a lot of them out there. What's the differentiator with Free2Move?
Yeah, well, you know, when I think about the avalanche of data that I think it's being called in the marketplace, you know, McKinsey recently said they think that the average is 25 gigabytes of data per hour that's coming off of a connected vehicle, whether it's a retail passenger car or an LCV that's being used to deliver, you know, goods and services. When you start thinking about the quantity and the mass of data that is coming through these ecosystems and having to be computed, digested, and understood by fleet managers, it's frankly overwhelming. And most fleet companies, even Free2Move, we suffer from manpower constraints. You know, there's only so many hours in a day for you to draw actionable intelligence. So we have an advanced data science team that works behind the scenes. And what they do is they harmonize data signals that are coming off of the connected vehicle car park, and they normalize it and they draw insights from it. And those insights are designed to give you power over what you need to make as a decision for your company. So we leverage both the embedded telematics that is inherent in all Stellantis vehicles in the connected vehicle car park, but we also leverage third-party hardware as needed, and we have integrations with other OEM vehicles. So it really is an end-to-end solution that is able to cover a large majority of the fleet vehicles that are out there and bring them into one platform. So it helps with the day-to-day management as well as even long-term asset management as you think about the future mix of your fleet and the future growth and services that you need to drive your business going forward.
Well, David, you mentioned the future, and you know, fleet management we don't think of as a brave new world, but with all this technology at our fingertips now, I mean, there is some exciting new integrations that are happening. But what does that look like from your perspective at Free2Move?
Sure, Chris, that's a great question. And it's one that I get really excited about. What Free2Move has been doing on the B2C side of the mobility landscape by operating our own car sharing and our own subscription vehicle programs for quite a while now, really have allowed us to take lessons learned from those business models and adapt similar ideas to the fleet landscape. You know, for a long time, we've been hearing in the mobility world that customers want access over ownership. They want a vehicle or a transportation asset, you know, at the duration that they want for a specific purpose or a specific need, but they don't want to own it and they don't want to hold on to it for a long period. I see those same business models coming to the fleet space in a more overt and more direct manner. Where customers and fleet customers today have large fleets of vehicles, in the future, they might be able to reduce their stock and to really order up and call up, you know, very similar to a ride hailing and car sharing customer needs today, the kind of vehicle they need for the moment they need it, for the duration in which they need it. And when you can get to that sort of targeted and modular pricing spectrum, you know, the fleet customer has the ability to reduce their overall operating costs, reduce their burdens, reduce their complexity, and have the assets they need to deliver their business at the time that they need them, rather than having a fleet of underutilized assets sitting there for a long period of time. Pricing and the economics that are put forth in the business models will allow them to really target those efficiencies in their business models and really grow the adoption of these fleet sharing programs that we can see on the horizon.
Wow, great. Well, that's a real mouthful. And we certainly look forward to reconnecting with Free2Move very soon in the future. But why don't you just tell me, last question, what's next for Free2Move? You're new to North America. What's on the plate?
Yeah, as we mentioned earlier, Free2Move is a well-established company in Europe. You know, it's a lot of customer contracts, both on the B2B and B2C side. You know, we see North America as really the next beachhead for us after the merger between Peugeot and Fiat Chrysler, creating the Stellantis group, we now have this transatlantic powerhouse where we are leveraging the strength of the OEM to bring Free2Move to North America and really deploy and accelerate and grow quickly here in the North American market. As you mentioned earlier, most people know Free2Move from its car sharing programs. Well, you're going to know Free2Move very soon for a lot of other products and services that we're bringing to market, both alongside Stellantis and independently as we deploy our own services. We're gearing up to start running mobility hubs across North America and bring advanced data solutions to the market. So we're very excited for what we have in store here in the next couple of months.
Wow, exciting times. We're really looking forward to following Free2Move. Hey, David, thank you so much for joining me on Fast Forward today.
My pleasure. Thank you, Chris.